start with Adam once everybody gets set. Go ahead, Adam.
Hubert, the response to the second half, I think that you felt like that was more like it from you guys. Just what were your thoughts about what you guys came out?
I did like the response out of our guys in the second half. One of the things that we talked about a lot at halftime, I told them that there's nowhere to go. That there's no exit route, there's no stairs, there's no door. You're going to have to stand there, you're going to have to compete. And you're going to have to compete on both ends of the floor. That their physicality in terms of attacking offensive glass, their physicality offensively, taking the ball to the basket, the pace in which they were running offensively, the energy, effort, and passion that College of Charleston brought to the table in the first half dominated us, and there was nowhere to go. And the only thing we needed to do was to respond. And I told them that if you would respond, things would change, and they would change quickly. And I thought our defense stepped up. We did a really good job of one of the things that we talked about was from the three-point line, either take away the three or take away the rhythm three, and I think they only had 2 3-pointers in the second half. I still felt like they got second chance opportunities, especially when Armando went for the block and our help side defenders needed to come in to take their 5-man away from getting an offensive rebound. But I thought defensively, we got 11 steals in the second half, so I felt like we were more active, and then that led into the offensive end, just attacking the basket, whether it's through penetration, and Armando was fantastic getting the position that he wanted in the post and being able to finish, and he either scored or got fouled, and then we got into the penalty early, and I like that because we're a good free throw shooting team.
Caleb said that you challenged him at halftime, said that he was playing soft.
They all were. They all were.
Sorry, he said specifically you challenged him.
They all were.
Okay.
I challenged all of them. They all were.
Are you pleased with the way Caleb specifically responded by defensively setting his man down a little bit more, and also being aggressive, attacking a lot more offense?
I do. I thought, when you look at Caleb's stat line, it was, he got to the free throw line, and he led the team in assists. And so that's the Caleb Love that can do that every night. And I felt like in the second half we responded defensively as well. His man didn't score easily. There was resistance. He competed, and so I was very proud of Caleb in the second half. He responds on both ends of the floor.
How impressed were you with Caleb's ability to turn, those steals he had or the block into a quick transition bucket on the other end?
Well, I think anytime that we get steals and that, we're really good in transition. One of the things that we do is, when we get steals, we've got all 5 guys sprinting, and we've got great spacing and balance, and we've got guys that can shoot threes in transition but also attack the basket. So, when we're able to steal the ball and also rebound, that we feel like we're in a good position transition-wise from an offensive standpoint, getting the shot that we want.
Did you have to tell the guys at halftime, especially Armando, get the ball to the big guy and be more aggressive, or was that something Armando did on his own, knowing that he had to be a little bit?
Well, I think it's 2 things. I challenged him. At halftime, I think he only had 1 shot. And so, there's 2 parts to it. One, you can call a play for a player, and then number 2, they actually have to catch the ball in the play to be able to do something with it. And so we called just as many plays in the first half as for Armando than we did in the second half, but Armando was fantastic. He did his work early. He caught the ball where he wanted to. He outworked whoever defended him to catch the ball as close as he could to the basket. His moves were definitive and strong, and he either scored or got fouled, and I was very proud of him.
Hubert, calling them soft at halftime, that's not a word that you throw out there lightly, is it?
No, one of the things I told them, this is a different generation. My generation, if somebody calls you soft, then it's real. And it's real. And so, but they were. We were soft in the first half. We were soft at parts against UNC Wilmington and on both ends of the floor. And there's a physicality that has to be brought all the time, and I'm thankful for these games because College of Charleston is an unbelievable program, team, outstanding coach and coaching staff, and whether we're playing College of Charleston, whomever, the type of competitiveness that we brought in the second half is something that has to be brought all the time.
How impressed were you with Trimble's spark he gave you off the bench, drawing that offensive foul and defending 30, 40 feet from beyond the outfield?
That doesn't surprise me at all. That's something that he can do. He has tremendous athleticism and quickness. I think he can be one of the best on-ball defenders full court in the country. He's gifted. It's one of his gifts and talents to be able to guard multiple guys, especially on the dribble. And I thought he disrupted the guy bringing up the ball because of his ability to make them run their offense out further, and that allowed us to get steals and deflections and missed shots. And so I'm very proud of Seth. I thought he played unbelievable when he was in the game, and I'm so glad that he's here.
Any
Take a couple more.
Hubert, why would you say the rebounding hadn't been at the clip that you guys are used to?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's 2 straight games that we've been out rebounded. I think last year, I know we were number 1 in the ACC in terms of defensive rebounding. I think we were number 2 or 3 nationally. So that's something that we pride ourselves on, is limiting opponents to 1 shot every possession. One of the things, I think I've said it to you and others, like every game we got to check 3 boxes. Number 1, we got to get after it defensively. We didn't do that in the first half. They shot over 50%. We did better in the second half. We got to check the box in terms of rebounding. We haven't done that the last 2 games, and that's going to get fixed. And then number 3 is got to take care of the basketball. And so that's something that needs to change and will change.
Hubert, you mentioned those 3 boxes, some of the softness against UNCW again in the first half tonight. Just sort of generally, how would you characterize where your team is in terms of where you need them to be at the end of the year, and also maybe where you thought they would be at this point?
Well, it's November. It's November, and one of the things that I have learned in my second year is that every team is different. Doesn't matter if you have 14 of the 17 guys returning. It's not. This is this year's team, and so there's growth and maturity for our team that just has to happen. And I spoke with the team yesterday, and one of the things that I have sensed in them, and I just felt not a nervousness, but maybe a little bit of a burden of the expectations. And I tried to get them to understand that those expectations are noise that means nothing. And I felt like on every play, they were trying to make it look like the way we looked in April. And that's just not possible. That just can't happen. This is this year's team. So let's just be committed to showing up every day at practice. Let's prepare. Let's see how good we can become. And at the end of the day, let's live with the results.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
We have a press conference on Monday. It'll be just Coach Davis on Monday at 2.
Appreciate it. Thank you.